Hey everyone, Dan Lotz here of 922 Films. I'm talking about today Ramen Sucker Punch because it's coming out in 4 days. Can you believe it? A brand new feature film coming out in 4 days. I've been working on this movie for nearly 6 months. I've had it done for a little bit. I'm excited for you guys to check it out. So I wanted to talk about the themes behind Ramen Sucker Punch. Why did I make Ramen Sucker Punch? And the first thing is just out of bare necessity. I needed to do it because I set out for the 12 features goal. So that was just the first thing with any of these projects. It was like, hey, I'm making a film. I need to make 12 of them. I need to come up with different ideas. So in all the films, we started off with that just basic, okay, we are making a film. This has to be one of the 12. How are we going to achieve that? And how we achieved it was me and Ed were sitting down because Joel had been out in Florida at the time when he was shooting his movie Hell's a Timeshare in Florida, and I didn't have access to Joel, which is basically my main collaborator on almost all of my movies. So instead, I thought it would be fun to work on a project with Ed because Ed was available. He was at home. He had an ability to get to me. He had a car. It was very simple to make that the staple of this project was my relationship with Ed. Specifically, could we mine our friendship for anything into a movie? And I thought that was kind of the beginning genesis of the idea. After getting started, I remembered a story that Ed had told me about a year or two prior about a guy who steals pickup food. He basically goes to a restaurant, he steals it, and then he gets co-opted into a whole drug thing by an FBI agent. And I was like, that's just not achievable on our budget. But I love the idea of a criminal going to a pickup place and stealing the food and that making it the genesis of a story. So I was like, hey, Ed, do you like that part of the story? Could we just do that portion? And Ed was very interested to see what we could adapt and work on. So I told him, like, give me a few weeks and let me think it through. And I had an idea from like 4 or 5 years ago, which was about delivery drivers and basically how they needed money really badly. They needed it to pay off some sort of big, student loans or something crazy like that. And so we kind of meshed the two ideas, but they didn't perfectly fit. So we slowly sort of built that by filming some scenes. So we started filming, and initially we didn't really know where it was going to go. We just knew it had to have that delivery pickup scene where he steals the food, and then they become delivery drivers at some point. And we didn't know exactly how we were going to get there. The only thing we did know was that at some point my character would bump into Ed's character about 20 minutes into the movie. And I think this is where we sort of started developing the themes of Ramen Sucker Punch, because we had the story, and one of the big themes is food and just how people use and eat food, and how they communicate over food. Or there's a scene in towards the end of the film where they end up pouring drinks together, and a lot of the film is about our relationship to food, specifically through these two characters. But that's like the most topical level theme. Another theme that was very important to me was about male bonding, especially in terms of how two men who are both considered loners, both considered people who the majority of society would say are either irredeemable or bad. How do these two people sort of make a friendship? How do they communicate differently than other people? And I remember when I showed the film to Joel Dick, he said that he thought that the character relationships between our two main characters were very unique, because most films in Hollywood don't really contain this kind of story. And specifically, another theme I wanted to focus on was just sort of that pattern of violence. How does violence occur out of these sort of lonely people? And I really feel like both of me and Ed kind of came together to make a really interesting story. And I think that some of these themes, I think, are going to be very impactful, and I'm really excited to see what you guys think about it. So, Ramen Sucker Punch is coming out in 4 days on June 27th. Check it out. It is going to be entirely free on YouTube. So there is absolutely no reason to not check it out. But I'll be doing videos all week, probably trying to hype it up and get people to watch it. So the best thing you could do is watch it when it comes out. It'll be out around 11 o'clock on the 27th, CST. So Check it out, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.